Continuation of chapter 6, and it's basically between the time of God getting ready to destroy the earth with using Noah. These verses that he's brought forth is he's getting tired of the mess the earth is in, and he brought it here, and it's written down here in the 6th chapter of Genesis. And so we're going to be taking Genesis 6, 1 through 10, and then we'll go on from there. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters and the men that they were fair, and they took them as them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with men, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and then same became mighty men, which were old men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thought in his heart was only evil continuously. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on earth, and grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and creeping things, fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. And these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begot 3 sons, Sem, Ham, and Japheth. The main part of this beginning of this chapter is the Lord making the comments that he's tired of the people on earth and what they've been doing. Now, we got to remember that God at this time walked on earth, and he came down and walked with the people here. But he was totally disgusted from the way it was. Now, there is a lot of controversy also in this here, in the wickedness and everything. And the biggest thing that people came here and said, it mentions the multiplication of people on earth, and this could happen quite rapidly considering the length of time that people lived. Remember, there was no 85 or 75-year-olds. They were all hundreds of years that they lived. And one of the most debated statements in the entire Bible are found in Genesis 6:2. And the question is, who were the sons of God? Now, it's been a topic of subject, and really there's no definitive answer. We almost have to read it, study it, and come up with our own type thing. Because some say that it's fallen angels. Well, we all know angels are angels. They can't have children. Now, unless when they fell, God entitled them to have children. But for what we know on angels, angels can have children. But some people still think that they are fallen angels, and some say that it's the son of, can't think of his name right off here. Adam, Cain's relatives, because where he was left and told to leave the garden, and he's over here in the city of Nord, or in that direction, and so they think that smarter people from Cain, Seth's family, could have married into Cain's family, and that Cain is in the wicked part, or the wicked person. It's really a subject that's been discussed, and there's really been not a definitive answer, and this is way it'll go on. Right. And it also it says giants were in the land, and who were the giants? Now we know. Hmm? Yeah.
Here's the thing, you can actually find out that these were fallen angels by going to Job. Only in the book of Job you can have the statement that the sons of God appeared before God. Now those were angels. Now when you go over into 1 Peter, it says these angels left their first estate. And what we're talking about here, they left their first estate and went over to the daughters of men. So we really have proof that these were fallen angels. And when they bred with the women, that they had giants.
Okay.
Remember, like her question last week, where did the giants come from on this side of the flood? They were all destroyed on the other side. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes, I remember that now. Mm. So.
It's very simple. You can kill the body, but you can't kill the spirit. Kill the body, it's drowning, but you can't kill the spirit. And those angels that fell. Your spirit never dies.
That's right. So their spirit never died. So even though it flooded, it lingered.
Yeah, and then they rose again. Isn't that what Larkinsville said? We studied it many, many years ago.
I don't know, I haven't been to like for years. I'm just going on what the scripture says.
Right.
It says
Okay.
they left their first estate, which they went into the men and bred with the daughters of men.
Okay.
And it said that demons that came into people, like when Jesus cast them into, would it be not like a demon coming into men?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, a lot of this is possible, and we really don't know, because and the giants, it's just like when Moses set out the people to look into the promised land. They come back with saying there were giants in the land, and except for two of them come back and said that they could defeat the giants, but the other part of the 10, they
Answer their question that these are not demon spirits because these were locked in the
Yeah, this is um, the uh, and some think the male descendants of Seth, the righteous sons, and this is in Genesis 4:26, who married female descendants of Cain. Now that's his daughters. In this case, it would be unique use of the paraphrase of sons of God. Uh, some believe the statement is referred to uh, rulers and nobles who were married to common women. The Old Testament does occasionally refer to judges and other rulers as gods. Psalms 82:6 and John 10:34 through 36. But there would be no reasons for those to be immoral relationships and for the giants to come from them. Others believe the sons of gods were fallen angels again who cohabited with the human women. The objection of this was to view that, that angels are sexless and do not reproduce. That angels cannot have the same bodily function as the men. So, I mean, we've got a lot of could-bes, and the one that refers to the most is the fallen angels. Jude 1:6 says, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day." And then verse 7 continues about Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in a like manner, giving themselves to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal life. So, regardless, the earth was full of sin and things that were ungodly. And, you know, it's just like in a small scale, something that you have done. Say you've got a flower garden and you put your heart and soul in it, and you look out and your next door neighbor's dog has come over and cleaned it all out. You know, I mean, this is similar like what God, he looked down on the earth, something that he's created. And he himself, remember at this time, has been noted to be walked on the earth, looking at what he had done and what was there, and he felt secure, thought the people, hoping the people would be honoring him. But you know, from Cain and everything that moved to the city of Nod and out of the area, and sin became very plentiful, and all types of sin. And you can see where that would kind of go along with the world today. The world today is nothing but sin. Everywhere you look, it's hard to find something good in what's going on. And, you know, God is kind of like mad at himself because I created something real good and look what they have done. Because remember, he hasn't done anything. He is the Almighty God, and he has delivered and made the perfect earth. But the people in it, because they were able to decide on what they wanted to do, because God gave them an open mind, and instead of honoring and being reverence to God, they went into the pleasure. And so he's decided, yep.
During this time, there were 10 kings, and there were many, many, many
There was a lot of people.
Right, and they had developed things to make it better, and like chariots and boat and copper and all different things. And so they were working people, and they knew the difference. They must have known the difference, and offered the difference, just like people today. But they kept refusing and refusing until they got so vulgar and so bad that God looked down and said, oh my goodness. You know, and when you stop and think, and the Lord, and it said, that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. It's hard to believe that we could grieve God to his heart. And the emotion and the feeling of God, it kind of shows the personality that,
See, we,
but God,
we,
if I'm not mistaken now, God
yeah.
was the Father and the Word and the Holy Spirit. They were three in one. They hadn't separated them, right? God was the three in one. And so when they looked down and saw what had been created and how they hated and how Satan had taken them over so bad, how sad he must have
Well,
been.
Well, you know, Sister Edna, it has not been very long. You know,
No.
it's only been about 1,500 years.
yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, how can every imagination of man, thoughts of his heart, be evil in such a short time?
Right.
And this is less, I would say less than 1,500 years.
Well, I think it's right around 1620,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
so it's about 1,500 years.
Yeah.
How did man get so corrupt in such a short time?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to ask yourself, why in the world? You see, in order for something to happen, there has to be maybe an example. Or, back in those days. So, what was it? Well, most of us who've done a study on this believe it was homosexuality that brought this judgment upon man.
Right.
Because you can see it when Adam, or when Noah goes to sleep and Ham goes into the tent.
Right.
And they think that's what happened in the tent. So, could man, what happened to man that he had become so evil that God destroyed him? That's a real question.
Yeah.
Didn't God say, leave Satan on the earth? Doesn't the earth, he dominate the earth?
Once man fell, he had
He had the earth. So he had full reign. They just had, all he had to do was sweet talk them into saying, well, this is right, and forget about God.
Yeah, but Sister Edna, we're forgetting the scripture back over in the 3rd chapter where it says, men begin to call upon the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
Now, you see, I have a problem with coexisting like this. Men begin to call upon the name of the Lord, but then the earth is getting so evil that God's going to destroy it.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. What is he talking about then? Because he can only save 8 people?
What happened to his plan?
Yeah, what happened to it?
What
Yeah.
happened to his plan of sending, as it was shown in the first of it, of sending Jesus
Well, my
into
question
the,
is, where were all these people who were beginning to call upon the name of the Lord? Why weren't they on the ark?
well, that's what
See?
Art and I were saying.
Oh,
You know what happened?
what happened to these people?
Yeah.
What happened to these people that there were only 8? And when you read the generations down, it only tells of the like Enoch or Melchizedek, or it never says anything about were they involved in government, did they have followers? I mean, in the
Well, it, and
If that happened, Melchizedek died before the flood. I mean, Methuselah.
yeah.
Yeah. Methuselah died before the flood. So he wasn't around for Noah to put in the ark. It was just Noah. So Noah was the only one left because the rest of them had gone on.
Well, we,
Yeah,
yeah.
Those names in chapter 5 are all gone, but they had children, didn't they?
yeah.
But their children must have not followed after the parents.
Now, that's rather odd, because the Bible said men began to call on the name of the Lord. And if they did, then my question would be, where are all these people that call upon the name of the Lord? They would have been in the ark, it seemed to me. But they were only 8 were in the ark, we know that.
That's what I'm saying, they must have turned, they must have turned their back to God.
Yeah, they changed their mind.
Remember, the Bible says in the long days waiting on the flood, when Christ died, he had to go down there and preach to those people that are called upon the name of the Lord. I feel.
Yeah.
Now, this was another thing that was mentioned that, I wondered about, and that was when Noah was, requested to build, or whatever, to build the ark, that he, had a position in that city. And he, requested that the people there participate in building the ark. He was ridiculed for it, and they didn't want to help, but they were, Noah and his sons weren't the only ones working on that ark.
Well, I got to admit, I've read somewhere where there were hundreds of men from the area that were helping Noah in building the ark. But
But they were making fun of Noah and laughing at him, and,
Well, that's why they probably didn't get on there, they were working for him, but they didn't believe what he said.
if you could only make an itemized list to take to heaven with you. but you, but I mean, really, we go into some of these situations and try to analyze it, and it turns around that whatever the Bible says, you agree with it and go with it, because you have to have faith. You believe in something, you got to have faith in it, and we all know that for some reason God was unhappy with the people in the way they lived. Now, we don't know how many people were on this earth. We don't know if it was only in the Middle East or were they worldwide, but the signs of a gigantic flood do show geographically around the whole world. So
he destroyed everything. He destroyed every animal he made. He destroyed every bird he made.
mhm.
He destroyed every man he made, except Noah and his family.
Right.
He destroyed
And there was the ark.
Did he?
How did all them birds and everything get on this side of the flood?
Because they were in the ark.
There you go. He didn't destroy everything.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't destroy, He
Yeah.
didn't destroy.
That's why he
Yeah.
said 2 or however many of
The
it
it
put on the boat so they could read.
But he would be pretty upset.
there was roughly I think 170,000 animals on the ark of all species, and you see animals in the zoo, this kind and that kind, pacing back and forth. Well, the ones that the Lord got in the ark, I think he kind of like put them to sleep, because they didn't have the pacing around and everything. And my first father-in-law was in the First World War, and he was in the veterinary corps, taking horses to France, and they used to walk them around for exercise. And he said a third of the herd that they would take would jump overboard because they were held out, So he always believed that all the animals in the ark were put to sleep. That's how he felt, because of what so many different animals there and everything. But God had control of the ark. It
You know, if they weren't asleep feeding all of them, just keeping them all fed, it was only 8 of them. So, yeah, God had to be
well,
in the whole situation.
if he could make the lady that had the oil, and she fed hundreds of people with the oil, well, that's how I think. I think the food in the ark for the animals was always there. Fed what you need. But the thing is with the Lord, he was just totally fed up with what was happening. And you can almost see today why he would be. And he's saying, I don't think, like, again, this is me, I don't think the Lord sat down and said, well, I'm going to destroy everybody. But then he came to the point that once the waters came down and earth is back being normal again, what am I going to do for people? But I think he also realized that there were a person that was capable of handling the situation. And because we all know he found Noah and Noah's family and put him in the ark. But people say, well, is God a just God because he destroyed the earth? And he didn't destroy the earth. He destroyed mankind that was on the earth. And it's kind of a strange Sunday school lesson in a way, because he's trying to put across that the earth, because it was so sinful, at least in the area where the world was at that time, and where the number of people that were here, he had to correct it. And because he found one person, then he felt the animals, certain animals should be saved and stuff. And finding Noah, because it wouldn't do any good to save certain animals and take all the human life like Noah and his family and discard them, because he was honoring Noah for his belief in him, and because he did, he saved their family. That.
The seed of the fallen man Adam. And I thought to myself, God, why didn't you just go ahead and just destroy the whole thing and start over again? Put it in the garden again. Let's get this thing so I can come in on the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why didn't you just start
The- you know, and if you take that statement, and we all know that before Adam, uh, there was another signs of life on the earth, and we don't know really who controlled them. We know the Lord did, God did, but we don't know if there was any human beings with them or not. So, you know,
I think that he looked down and, like I say, there was the Holy Spirit and the Word, and, they created, and just like, when Abram, met the angel and he said, with Lot, he said, well, if there be, 20, well, if there be 10, well, if there be, and I think the three of them talked and said, well, if we could find one. And here is the lineage coming down, the first son of everyone that was born, and they taught that first son. Noah was taught by his father, he was the first son, and the first child gets all the attention and all of the knowledge, and they make sure they know. And, so I think that's what happened, and they said, well, it's, we have,
Do you think that maybe in order for God to fulfill scripture in Genesis
Yeah.
3:14,
yeah,
that the seed of the woman, he had to say no,
yes.
right,
and bring the seed through Noah, because it wouldn't have been, you couldn't have done it through another Adam.
right. The end goal of the Lord is when he calls his bride home. And I think he knew then that was the way it was going to go.
Your own feeling.
I was gonna say, and now we have a flesh in the Godhead. God the Son is flesh in the Godhead.
Right.
Is he one of us?
Yeah. And I think he at that point he knew what the outcome was going to be, and he had to know. He just had more faith in human people that it would be a different. I think he probably thought it was going to be different, but because he gave us our own minds, and we weren't little robots, but we're all individuals. And because of that is where the sin came in, and from Cain, and he killed Abel. Now, why not take and do away with Cain? Cain created the problem, let's get rid of Cain. Well, but Cain had already started what the Lord didn't want, and we don't know how many descendants were born between that the time that they were able to have children till he did that, which would mean there would be other people otherwhere throughout the country.
He was 129 years old when Cain killed Abel.
Mhm.
He was 129 years old. Now, a lot of people can be born in that amount of time.
So it,
Different ideas,
So-
they spread out, and then they lose, it's like people not coming to church. They
Mhm.
spread out, and they lose contact.
All the God even men down through history has always had children. Some were very evil and kept it good going in the good line of God.
right,
These, ancestry happened, the people that brought it all the way down to Jesus Christ.
right,
But what we're talking about is, I don't think, God can't be surprised. This was all his plan, and so we could sit here and talk about it all we want, but he knew what was gonna happen from the very beginning, but he's working everything out to where it ends up at his plan anyway, so.
that,
It's just the awesomeness of God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
yeah,
I
it,
mean, that he can imagine and work things out like he does is awesome.
Well, that's given us our choice.
Yeah.
We have a choice to live
Yeah.
or to die.
that's it.
But that he loves us so much, even though we are so evil, so bad, he loves us so much to die for us and take us to heaven with him.
When God decided to destroy the earth and people and everything, I guess he decided that because the people are too bad,
Mhm.
too, everybody was. But my point is, at this moment, we are worse.
Yes.
We should be worse.
Yes.
The things is worse right now than they should be at that time.
Yeah.
And I ask God, what are you waiting for?
Come on,
Because
come on, yes.
it's crazy. It's worse right
It
now.
is.
It's more crime. It's more everything bad happening right now than could be that bad before. I don't
It's
think
the
so.
love of God. It's the love of
Yeah.
God. He's not thinking of the people that he has down here that loves him. And this is so sad. He's thinking of the people down here that don't acknowledge him.
Yeah.
And he's giving them the opportunity. We don't have to fret. We don't have to fret.
But it's our
But
duty
they
to
do.
prepare them for this.
Well, you're to give them knowledge. They're going to prepare for themselves.
Yeah.
But he's giving them the time allotted. And he did them. Look how many years all of those kings back in Genesis, look how many years they lived. They lived to be 900 years old. It seems like you get some
Yeah, you
sense.
get some kind of wisdom by after all them years.
100 years old.
You do wish that somewhere you would get the information of how God thought on. It tells us, that He told whoever wrote the Bible, because of the wickedness and everything, He's going to destroy it. But you don't know about all the people. Now, as far as we know, all the people that were on the earth and alive were destroyed, except those that were in the ark. And because you hear when the ark landed and the door was finally opened, you got to remember now there was 3 guys, and it doesn't say anybody was born while the ark was floating around, but it would be the 3 families plus Noah that would come off. And look at the world today. There was no type of situation where everybody was saved on the ark. We assume that they were because God said Noah, and he found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now, we all.
He had one son that had committed a sin.
Because they had to go into Sodom and get him, I think. Am I right? Oh, no, that's. Yeah. But it's, so great that the Lord that we serve is able to assist us in our lives and reach down for each one of our situations. We're a group here of roughly 20 people, and each one of our lives are different. Every one of them are different. And God knows which life needs a little more work, or which one needs a lot of work, or whatever. He knows our lives. And we know our lives. And we know whether it lines up with God or not. And that is the whole goal of what we do here. We do it to church, or anyone that attends a church that believes in salvation, that we have the opportunity to stay on this track, or we can veer off it. That's why there are a song out about walking the narrow road. Our walk is narrow, but you know it's narrow if you stay in the same footsteps with the Lord. It's when you try to do your own thing, your own way, and you end up doing shortcuts that you think are shortcuts, and the next thing you know that you're too far to the left or too far to the right. You're not on the thread that you're supposed to be living on, walking on. Anybody got anything else? And hopefully next week we'll get into some meat where we can really dig into some of the subjects that are in the Sunday school lesson.